Okay, so they are in break right now. You've been watching a hearing inside the House Judiciary Committee with the Attorney General of the United States, Merrick Garland, taking questions from both parties, clearly each of them trying to score political points. And back with us to discuss what we just saw is NBC's Ali Vitale on Capitol Hill, former U.S. Attorney and former state judge Carol Lam, and Brendan Buck, a former top aide to GOP speakers Ryan and Boehner. Will keep an eye on this hearing when it reconvenes. First, Carol, your reaction to what we just witnessed.
Yeah, well, of course, one of the more fiery lines of attack came from Representative Gates. But the suggestion that the Department of Justice somehow was using the New York State prosecutor Alvin Bragg to carry out the Justice Department's will is absurd. And I can tell you, as the former U.S. attorney for the Southern District of California, that the idea that the Justice Department can tell an elected district attorney what to do and have them carry out the Justice Department's will is truly absurd. It's ridiculous. They have their own mandates. They have their own cases that they want to bring. And although there is sometimes cooperation in task force settings and such, Merrick Garland is completely on point when he says, I did not dispatch anyone. There was no directive to Alvin Bragg, and really absolutely no evidence of that has been produced. And so, it's a tough position for Merrick Garland because he's drawing a hard line that he's not going to comment about ongoing cases, and that is the correct position to take. But you can see his insistence that there was absolutely no directive from the Department of Justice to Alvin Bragg.
Yeah, Brendan, we heard from a couple of the lawmakers on the Republican side there trying to suggest that the Department of Justice under Merrick Garland had its thumb on the scale in the New York hush money case, or was in some way directing that prosecution, which Merrick Garland continually pushed back against, saying these are completely separate entities, that this was a local city prosecutor who was enforcing state law, which is separate than the Department of Justice. But obviously, Republicans must think this works with their voters, no?
Yeah, I mean, Matt Gaetz knows what he's doing, and he was obviously the first person that Republicans brought up, and they knew exactly what the line of questioning was. They asked Merrick Garland to prove a negative in a way that they knew that he wouldn't be able to do, so that the conspiracy can hang out there longer. Also, what's striking following these hearings is the different sort of cast of characters you have to be sort of keeping up with. And it speaks to the number of different threads that Republicans have been trying to pull on to come up with something, anything. And it's a reminder, there's a lot of information flowing that a lot of Republican voters are seeing that are frankly not familiar with most people in the mainstream, because they're just pulling at any thread that they can find to try to prove a direct line to something. And whether or not there's, any direct evidence is almost helpful to them, because it allows there to be this sort of cloud of ambiguity over everything. And so it's a situation where they're throwing everything against the wall. It certainly does, I think, in some ways undermine their ability to prosecute a case against him, because it's confusing, because it's hard to get, we talked earlier about whether or not they'd have the votes to hold him in contempt. I think there's a lot of member education. A lot of members aren't sure exactly what it is they're trying to do with him here.
We did hear from a Democrat, Representative Steve Cohen, there right before the break, who in his questioning pointed out that the Department of Justice has federal investigations and indictments against members of the Democratic Party, too, like Senator Robert Menendez, of course, also Henry Cuellar, the president's son Hunter, who is right now on trial. Ali, is this a hint of what we'll see from these committees over the next few months?
Well, that's, of course, an example of the ways that Democrats are trying to show and completely rebut the idea that Republicans often say, which is that there's a two-tiered system of justice here. That is a frequent refrain that, of course, has no basis in fact. And the reason that Congressman Cohen is bringing up those two cases in the instances of Menendez and Cuellar is to show that justice is blind to party affiliation when the Justice Department is bringing these cases. I want to zoom out a little bit, though, because Brendan brings up such a good point. You look at the multiple multiple layers that are at play here in this hearing. There's a layer from the January 6th insurrection. There's a layer of the prosecutions of Donald Trump at the state and local levels from New York to Georgia. There's the DOJ's own investigation of the January 6th insurrection and the former president's role. So many different threads here to pull on that we'll watch when they come back.
Ali Vitale, Brendan Buck, and Carol Lamb, thank you all.